Welcome to another episode of News Dose, where I give you some of the latest news, rumors, and speculation in the game industry. And there were several things that happened today, so we got a lot to talk about. Xbox Germany may have made a little mistake on Facebook and announced Final Fantasy VII Remake for the Xbox. It was soon taken down, but a little too late for people not to notice. The Switch Lite was also finally revealed today, but some fans seem to not be too happy about it. Amazon and Facebook also made news today with what looks like to be a deeper dive into gaming. Is this the worst possible timeline? So let's get right into the news and let's talk a little bit about Final Fantasy. So Final Fantasy VII Remake may not be exclusive to the PlayStation 4 after all. Now, it was originally announced as coming first to PlayStation 4, which always led to speculation on what platforms it would eventually be on. PC has always been a given, but since then, there hasn't really been any kind of hints at timed exclusivity, which had many people wondering if Sony may have secured full exclusive rights to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Or at least until today, when Xbox Germany made a mistake on Facebook by claiming that Final Fantasy VII Remake would be releasing on Xbox, and better yet, simultaneously with the PlayStation 4 release on March 3rd, 2020. Now, this post was quickly taken down, and they did apologize and said it was a social team mistake. The question is, what kind of social team mistake was this exactly? Was there some kind of misinformation and Final Fantasy VII isn't really coming to Xbox? Or was this announced ahead of time and they could get into legal trouble for talking about it? It's hard to say right now, but this will certainly get people talking. Now, it is important to remember here, Sony does try to keep things hush-hush with their timed exclusives. They did a very similar thing with Crash Bandicoot and the Insane Trilogy, and tried to hide the fact that it was a timed exclusive. There was actually tweets about it, and the original announcement was similar to Final Fantasy VII, and I think Final Fantasy VII is kind of following the same formula, where it was also originally announced as coming first to PlayStation 4. Now, I also believe Death Stranding will come to PC eventually as well, but that's an entirely different story. With Final Fantasy though, I think the more curious thing is that Xbox Germany was claiming a simultaneous release. It is very possible that Sony does have the marketing rights, and it would keep Xbox, or other platforms for that matter, to talk about the release. Only time will tell on this, but I'm pretty positive Final Fantasy VII Remake will eventually come to Xbox, even if it's not on March 3rd. Now, we also got to see the Switch Mini after months of speculation. The name is officially the Nintendo Switch Lite, and it's releasing on September 20th of this year for $199 US. Now, even if it is cheap, fans don't really seem to be glowing with enthusiasm over the Nintendo Lite, but I'm not really sure it's completely justified here. The thing is, there was always a rumor of this thing dating way back into March, and we've talked about it a lot on this channel, and it was always believed to be one of two new models. The Switch Lite, a more budget-friendly option, which it is, and a Switch Pro, which would be a more powerful version than the current Nintendo Switch. They did say that no other Switch would be coming this holiday, so it looks like the Nintendo Switch Pro isn't coming anytime soon, unfortunately, and whether or not that rumor was ever true remains to be seen. But I think that the Nintendo Switch Lite is what the rumor said, or at least for the most part. I know there was a rumor a few days ago about it being more powerful, but I said right away that doesn't sound right. It can't be more powerful, plus also be cheaper. The Switch Mini, or actually the Switch Lite, seems to be doing a number of different things. It's not supposed to replace your current Nintendo Switch, but it may replace the aging 3DS. Yes, the Switch Lite cannot be docked like the original Switch, and that does really seem to be an odd thing considering that, well, the Switch is named Switch because, well, you can switch between your dock and your TV. So basically the Switch Lite is a Switch that can't switch. On the other hand, it is cheaper, and this is very alluring for parents shopping for their kids, and I think that will be the main demographic. A lot of the time a parent goes shopping, they will opt out for the more budget-friendly option, and especially for young kids. A young kid may not need to play their games on a TV, they just want to play. And as I've said before, I love playing in handheld mode. For the first 2 years, I never once had my Switch docked, and it wasn't until I started playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate that I did finally dock it. So I know there are certain people out there that may find an only handheld console to be appealing. I mean, why would you pay the extra money for a feature you're never going to use? I understand that the Switch Lite may not be for you, and you may want to stick with the original Switch, which is fine. I understand that. But I do think there is a big market for this type of product. I will say one thing that I do find to be disappointing about the Switch Lite though, is that it isn't really small enough to fit in your pocket. And I think that is the main reason I'm not really interested in it. I personally see no reason to downgrade when it doesn't really offer more portability, which is its main draw. Plus, it still doesn't have Bluetooth, which I don't really understand why by this point, but whatever. In other news, Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed looks to be coming to virtual reality, which is really cool. I've been wanting a Splinter Cell return for a while now, especially now that Metal Gear is over. Well, I guess that's technically not true, but Hideo Kojima isn't making Metal Gear anymore, and in my opinion, Hideo Kojima is Metal Gear Solid. But anyways, unfortunately, this is a deal with Facebook. We know that Facebook actually acquired Oculus Rift, so this shouldn't come as some big surprise, but it's not really a company that I trust in gaming just yet. Maybe they'll surprise me, and it even looks like they're looking for game developer acquisitions. There really is a lot of big publishers looking for acquisitions right now. I mean, if you think about it, we got Microsoft, Sony, Google, Facebook, and even Amazon. I'm just going to hope Microsoft and Sony keeps the others out the best they can, because I don't really know if I trust either Facebook or Amazon, let alone Google, but that's again a whole different story. Speaking of Amazon though, we know they've had a game division for a few years now, but we haven't really seen much from them. Well, I guess they're going to be making a Lord of the Rings MMO. Now, of course, we know that they're also making a TV show, which is going to be incredibly expensive. But I think a Lord of the Rings MMO does have potential, because it does have such a rich world. But again, I just don't really trust Amazon right now with games. We hear a lot of rumblings from them with games, but nothing ever really seems to happen. All I can really say with this is, I'm going to hope for the best. Now for the last bit of news, I just wanted to talk about this briefly because we don't really have much to go off of right now, but it does appear that there may be a Super Monkey Ball in development, as it was titled in Taiwan for PlayStation 4, the Nintendo Switch, and PC. Of course, Sega did say that they will be bringing back some of their old franchises, and I think Super Monkey Ball could definitely work. I never really played the originals, but I've always been curious about them, so I hope this one turns out to be true. Anyways though, that's it for today's news dose, but let me know what you think about it in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace out.